Start.
Welcome. This is video 3 of 3 about the 3 novels about empathy. This novel is called Sick Bay. It's written by Nova Weetman. The book is about 2 girls named Riley and Meg, and the girls are in grade 6 and they meet in the sick bay, but they are so different from each other. Riley has type 1 diabetes and she's struggling with her friendships, with her relationship with her mother, and also managing her diabetes at school. Whereas Meg, she's struggling with the loss of her father, taking care of herself, as well as her mother who's suffering from depression, and also just being at school. She doesn't have that many friends, and so she feels like a bit of a loner. So the author's main goal in this novel is to emphasize the experiences and highlight the friendships that make up the end of primary school, and it also highlights the challenges that these students have in this book, the physical challenges such as type 1 diabetes and mental health issues such as depression and anxiety. The author evokes empathy in the readers by using the 2 contrasting points of view from the girls to how they face their own challenges, but they manage to come together and support each other. I found that when I was reading this book, I couldn't put it down. I could relate to the girls that were going through all these challenges. Like, they were all these situations that I also faced when I was in grade 6, like the complicated friendships, breaking, who was going to be your new best friend, and like complicated relationships with your parents, trying to gain a bit of independence, but you're still so dependent on your parents, that push and pull. And the biggest issue was peer pressure and having good and bad friends and knowing what a bad friend was. And I also learned a lot about type 1 diabetes, and also about living with the loss of a parent. And these issues, they happen for primary school students, but you don't really hear about them that often, and this novel really illustrated them both really well and in a way that was easily relatable. The audience for this novel would definitely be grade 6 students, and although it is about 2 girls, I would recommend it for girls and boys, mostly because the issues they're going with are not just because they're girls. It's an issue that also boys and girls the same age would face. And I think that, especially with peer pressure, the book illustrates, it really emphasizes what a bad friend is. And I think that at that age, before going to high school, it's important to really understand what a bad friend and what a good friend looks like. In my opinion, the novel highlights the different lives students have at home as well as at school. Like, you don't really know what students are going through at home, and then, you can't judge them at school, especially peers to peers. And this novel really teaches students to have empathy for each other and not bring each other down, and rather support each other, and understand everyone has differences, and that's what makes them unique, and that's what brings everyone together. One of the quotes from this book, which is my favorite quote, is that it was where I learned who I really am. Normal, not normal, just like all of you. And this acknowledgement and an acceptance of individuality was so important, and at any age, and especially at an age where you're on the cusp of a new experience, new lifestyle, like you're getting older, you're coming of age. And I think that was really important to be able to accept yourself, and understanding that everyone's sense of normal is different. And I think another strength of this book is that because it's written in the 2 different viewpoints, and the girls' viewpoints are so different, they have conflicting personalities, and their points of view are so different, even if the situation is the same. It teaches us that, you know, everyone is different, everyone sees an issue differently, and everyone, because they're going through something different, they see a different issue. So, you know, in the story, Meg, she wishes her mother was more around and more, you know, to take care of her more, whereas Riley wishes her mum would sort of back off and give her space and independence. And in each situation, the girls are both right, but, you know, you see such a conflicting view. With the novel, some activities that you could do, in groups of 4, you could recreate the scene in the book of Lena's party, but you change the scene so that Lena is a supportive friend rather than the bad friend. Students could consider what actually happened at the party and think of ways that they could change what happened so that Lena is more understanding, considerate and inclusive, and then they can perform this to the class. Another activity is that the students could create a theme park for Riley and Meg, where they choose a theme, design rides, attractions, make some shops, and design little food carts or something, where you'd also take into consideration what foods Riley can eat, and they can make like souvenirs. And then they can create a poster for this theme park, as well as a park map that details all the different attractions that they're going to have. And then when they present the theme park to the class, they can explain, you know, why they chose the certain elements they did. And I think that they could do this in groups of 3. I've added some resources at the end of this video, and they are some websites about type 1 diabetes and how to live with it and manage it. And I've also added some websites that have resources for managing grief for children. Thank you.